the same time? Like, what's that hosting thing?
I'll have to check with Chris on it. He does not like Restream.
Okay.
Restream is one way to do it, but you if you're going to two channels on the same service, it has to be a paid account.
Oh, okay,
Um,
okay.
but supposedly he says basically there's a way you can host another channel. So we would have to go onto our channel and host you, or you would go onto our channel and host us, depending on
Yeah,
who's
okay.
broadcasting, and it would show on the other one.
Okay.
So
I'll,
you know,
whatever works.
I don't have the access to our Twitch account to do any of that. So
Got it.
on short notice like this, I'm not going to try to push for it.
Got it. Got it. Anyway, I guess we just kind of broadcast our conversation. I don't know if anyone's listening yet,
Yeah.
but uh,
Hello.
hi guys. Hi guys. It's me, Matt, and Ryan is here again from CR Gameroom. We're here for the
Hello.
second in our series of kind of OBS Bootcamp for Dice Masters. So last
Yep.
time,
This is the.
oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, so last time was our basic introduction, our 101 class. This is our 102 class. This is continuing with basics, getting touching a little bit on the advanced stuff. Um, but after this will be the advanced classes. So,
Yeah.
um,
So the goal
depending upon how much time we spend today, depends on how close to the advanced stuff we'll dive into.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to get as deep today as we did last time. Last time was a lot of the settings and the background stuff just to get you kind of recording.
Yeah, a lot of the base groundwork type stuff. We're now we're delving into the customization.
Yeah, this is the
So
creative side of things. So the goal at
yeah,
the end of today and the last stream, last video is between these two. This is all you need to kind of start creating your brand for recording and doing
yep.
whatever you want there. So the stuff that'll come after this is to amp it up to the next level. But after today, you should be good to go. And coincidentally, at the end of this week, there's something that you may want to record and stream, isn't there?
Yeah, so we've got the Earth X Origins event going on this Saturday. That'll be the 21st, I believe, is the
I think
date of
it's
that.
the
At
20th, isn't it?
This is the 20th. I don't remember days anymore. I'm off of work this week. I'm taking vacation for my wife's birthday, so the day of the week means nothing to me now. But it'll be at noon Eastern time start. If you want more details on that, you can check out rollingthunder.xyz. That's rolling without a G. And again, so it's rollingthunder.xyz/EXO. Or if you're a member of our Discord server, that's the CR Gameroom Discord server, we have an entire category dedicated to the EarthX Origins with a general chat channel in there that there's some lots and lots of information about. And of course, your favorite podcast software of your choice. Look for the Rolling Thunder podcast. The latest episode had the whole process of how to sign up and get ready for it. So
Yeah, so that should be a good time. But yeah,
how was that for a little ad?
that was a perfect ad. I'm just sitting here going, God, I should have been ready with some graphics to have that on the screen as we did it. I dropped
Now
the
you know
ball.
how I felt during that podcast. I was flying by the seat of my pants. You asked me like, "Did you record any of that?" And I'm like, "Oh shit, I didn't even think of that." So
Yeah, and I'm sitting here as you're talking, going, God, I'm a dummy. um,
so
so yeah, so like we wanted to try to get this one out at the beginning of the week to enable anyone who wants to record for this coming.
Yeah, and your hope is to get this transferred over to YouTube for all the people that prefer YouTube over Twitch within the next 24 hours. I'm expecting.
Yeah, as
So,
soon as we're done, it'll
uh,
start processing, and I think there's going to be 0 edits. It's just going to whip it up there.
sounds
Uh,
good to me.
so let's jump over to your screen, which we've got
Yep,
set up as it looks like the dual player setup.
yep. So little finagling here. Matt, you're not able to quite share a play mat with me, so I've got an image of one showing up here in the browser window instead of the Jitsi room. But again, it's still still a browser source, still a window capture, just like that. I'm just sharing out a different tab in that window, is all that is. But one of the things we talked about, but we didn't really show what on it, is if you look at my playmat here, the Doctor Who playmat, the Doctor is in here. You can see I'm backwards for this layout right now. This is not very helpful for people, and so to fix that, again, the player two's on this side, so I can go to the. I have to unlock it to be able to make edits to it. Right click, transform, and I can rotate 180 degrees. Now I'm the right way. Now, camera's a little bit off, and so now I can just boom. And now that I'm done, lock it back, and Bob's your uncle. The playmats are now facing each other.
But you're mirrored.
So, oh, I'm mirrored now. Okay, so again, we can go into here, go to transform, and I believe because when we start rotating things and whatnot, it gets a little wonky on me. So I may have this wrong. Yep, let me undo that. So I need to flip horizontally because again, we've rotated the image. It's based off of what the original image is.
Yeah.
Zoom that down a little bit. Boom. Now everything can be read, and again, we lock it back. We're done. So just as quick as that, we've got my playmat recentered and oriented the correct way so that everyone on the stream can properly see what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So I just, we kind of talked about it a little bit, the last time, but wanted to really show that in action this time. So next, I actually want to shout out to one of our members on our Discord server who also was watching the video last time, Monkey, Carl, who has taken what our 101 class and started building some stuff and came up with a bit of a layout that he's building on. And, I want to show it to everyone. This is not to, say like, oh, look, he's doing something wrong. No, I actually love exactly what he's doing. I want to show him how to optimize it. Okay.
So you've got a screenshot
I wanted to get
of
that out there. Yeah, I've got a screenshot here I'm going to bring over here and show out to everyone. So you can see he's got the dual play field going there. And what he's done is he's got a team going across the top and bottom for the one player, and a team going across the top and the bottom for the other player. And he's lined up the basic actions there in the middle. So he's color-coded everything. The blue is for the player's team, red is for that player's team, and the green is their basic actions.
I like the red team. The red team's nice.
Yeah, the red team's vicious. It's Becky. Oh my gosh! Look at. Oh, sorry. So now what he did here, the way he did this is he literally downloaded the image of all of these cards and loaded them up as individual images within OBS and set, has them, and he's turning them on and off to do all this. And that's doable. You can see he's doing that. But thanks to our friends over at Dice Coalition, specifically Truby, who goes by Flexi on the Discord servers, we have what we call the Dice Master Source plugin for OBS.
So do you we'll put the link in the article here.
Put the link in the article and whatnot, and I've posted in our Discord server. We have a content creators section, and in there where there's an OBS chat, and I posted a link to this in that if you want to download it. The instructions are in the file to download it, but it's very simple. It's literally a DLL file that you copy into your OBS plugins 64-bit folder and restart OBS.
Yeah.
And once you do so, under your sources, you will now see Dice Master Source. When you add this, let's add a player 1 team. Okay. You'll notice right now it's not showing me any team, and it's got, this default team in here. The reason it's not showing any team is this folder does not exist on my computer. So I need to point it to a folder that it actually exists so it can download the cards to show.
Yeah.
So I'm going to browse, and luckily for me, I'm nice. I put it on my D drive instead of my C drive. And voila, you can see it's now showing cards. Now, the cards it's going to show is based off of what's here in the Team Builder string. Going old school here for a little bit, there used to be a web forum called the Reserve Pool, and that forum created their own code system years ago for referencing cards for use in the forum. And so we've called it the TRP code now, when and stuff. And pretty much all current software that's for Dice Masters uses the TRP codes for referencing teams and cards. Specifically, that's the format Team Builder uses in its URL. So the beautiful thing here with the Team Builder string is you can put in a full Team Builder URL if you want, which I've got one here. Put that in, give it a couple seconds, and you see now it starts rotating through those cards. Now, you don't have to use the full URL. You can just use that TRP code section of it, and it does the exact same thing. And that's going to be useful here in just a minute. That's why I wanted to point that out. But the next thing to point out is the display format. You notice right now it's showing just a single card and cycling it. The most recent version of Truby's plugin, version 4, has multiple formats now. So the default was the cycle. We now have playmat view, which is your generic playmat view of the, 4 cards and 4 cards, and then your 2 basic actions. This works well if you're just showing your playmat for others and your cards have a big glare on it and things like that. Not very useful, especially for our head-to-head format in this format. Next, we have the creator view.
I asked for this one.
This is good. Yeah, this was your direct ask.
Yes.
And you and Ross use this one quite heavily for displaying a single team on the page at one time. And it's very useful.
Yeah.
The one we're going to utilize for today, though, is actually the last one, which is horizontal row.
Which I think
Reg display.
Reg was asking for this one.
I think Reg was the one who asked for this one. But it displays the cards in that horizontal row. Now, there is a checkbox here for show dice count. So, you can see here it adds dice to the bottom of it if you want. For the most part, most of us can kind of guess how many dice everyone has of which cards on their team and whatnot. That's not necessary, but it's there if you want. The cycle speed really only matters for the cycle cards. Otherwise, it doesn't do anything. But it's the speed in seconds of how fast it rotates the cards. Now, the card margin is the spacing between cards. So you can see right now, every card's just lined up right next to each other. I like a little bit of space. I know you put a little bit of space on yours. It just breaks it up and makes it look nice. So just kind of mess around with what you think looks good here. I think 50 will look good for what we're talking about for today.
For me, part of it, figuring it out was just what I would do before I would space it out is I would resize it and then figure out what the spacing looked.
Yeah, and we'll come back in here and we'll probably adjust that. But for right now, we're going to leave it at 50. But what I wanted to bring back here real fast was, again, if we look at Monkey's layout, he does 4 across the top and 4 across the bottom with the 2 basic actions. Team Builder links are built with the 8 cards on your team for the first 8 slots and the last 2 being your basic actions. So as such, what I can do is I can just take those first 4 cards from that.
I see what you're doing.
Put that here. Okay. You see
I see exactly what you're doing.
All right. So now I can resize this down, kind of get it where we want it. All right. And again, I can hold down the Alt key and slide this in over here while I drag it in. And now I've got those 4 cards right there. That to me looks like a good sizing.
Yeah.
All right. But here's the next drawback to this. That's kind of hard to read on the base playmat. And again, if we go back to Monkeys, he had that blue underline around it. Okay? Now, Jordo, you being the graphics person you are, you'd make some fancy graphics and stuff like that.
Yes.
I told you earlier, I'm not a graphics guy. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come in and create a color source, and I'm gonna call this player one bar top. And because I had the shift key down there, change that. I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna select my color, and we're gonna go with a blue color. I'm gonna say okay, and okay, and now I'm going to resize this about there. Now I'm going to hold the shift key down just to resize the bottom right about there. And again, because of the waterfall effect, I need to bring the bar below the cards. Okay. So now let me move the, whoop, again, see, I grabbed the wrong one. Let me lock that. Now I can move, come over here and select them. There we go. And I can move these out a little bit. So you see how it's popping like that? Remember we had that lock to edge, and my lock to edge is too close. So I'm going to just come into settings real fast, turn it off, apply it. I'm just going to kind of eyeball it in there. I like it there. And just because I don't want to forget it later, re-enable my snap for future ones. Okay? So there's that. Now I'm going to fix my spelling on this one real fast because I thought I got rid of the explanation part, but I didn't. And now I'm going to make a copy of it. Paste, and I want to do it as a duplicate because I want changes to be independent of each other. Bring it down. And I'm going to just bring this down to the bottom. Okay? Now, I'm going to leave it to the middle for right now, and that's fine. Now I'm going to come in. Let's copy. Paste a duplicate. We're going to go to the properties of it. And now I'm going to grab the rest of their TRP code team. I'm going to make sure I lock everything else here real fast. I'm going to bring it down here. Remember, we had the Alt key where we resize this, so I need to unresize that to get the rest of the cards in. So now we see that our sizing's a little off. That's a little too big for that. Not a problem. I'm going to continue to just kind of fudge it a little bit, and I need to turn off the snap.
I'll be honest,
I'm one of those
with this,
apply.
with this stuff, I start to use the arrow keys to kind of narrow it down.
Yeah, I'll do that for fine tuning at the very end. Right now, I'm just trying to get things in rough positions. You know, I'm just trying to get it to where it looks close to that. All right. So at this point, I've now got his his team showing in this side. Now, to make life easier, because I've got this gobbledygook up here, we're going to create a group. Player 1 info. And I'm just going to start moving everything into that group. Boom. All right. So now we're going to do the same thing, but for player 2. And this time I'm going to start with the boxes. And again, to keep sizing as close as possible, I'm going to copy, paste duplicate. You'll notice it does not paste it into the group. It pastes it on top there.
Yeah.
I'm going to rename this to player 2 top, which let's rename this while I'm thinking of it. Instead of top, this is bottom. Okay. Now, well, Want to change the properties of this. I want to select the color, and we're going to go with a nice eye-assaulting red. All right. Now, for whatever reason, this came in very weird, and I'm not sure what's going on here with the copy paste, so we're going to delete it. And we're just going to create a new one. So, again, we're going to go with color source, player 2, bar top, the eye assaulting red. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the transform. I want to copy the transform. And I'm going to paste the transform. And we have the same problem again. What just happened with this one? This worked, I don't know how many times for me in my little testing, and now it's having issues.
It's the joys of live TV, right?
Yep. So we're gonna bar top. So you guys will get to see the old slow way of getting this to work. We will again kind of grab the corner and resize this, getting close. And so to get them exact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at bar top 1. I'm going to go to transform, edit transform. I don't want to actually change anything. What I'm looking at is the size. So this is 962.999999 and 236. The 236 is really the part I'm most interested in, because that is the height. This is your width, that's your height. And we want the bars to be the same height. So I'm going to remember 236. I'm going to come back to this one, transform, edit transform, and put in 236. And close. And since I know I snapped, I know those two bars are now the exact same height. Okay? And we need to create another one. Let's see if the copy and paste works for this one. Copy. Paste duplicate. Want to rename bottom. All right, we need to make sure we lock everything else out to make sure we don't accidentally move something. Make sure that's highlighted. Come in. Boom. All right. Again, I know he's got a green square in the middle, and we'll get to that. Okay. So now we need to add the teams. So we'll add a Dice Master source. Player 2 team, and for our opponent here we will have this team, and I do have to change my location on that, and we want it to be the horizontal row. We said 50 for the card margin, but again we may come in and change that. And I want to take the top. We're going to transform, copy. This one, transform, paste.
Whoa.
And it really just does not like that when I do that for whatever reason. All right. So we are going to do what we did before. I don't know why my computer is having problems with this, but we're going to go to transform, edit transform. 211 is the number we're wanting to match there. Come in here, transform, edit transform, 211. So now we know those top cards are all the same size. And again, I just want to kind of move it rough. And you said you use the arrow keys. You can see I'm tapping the arrow keys, kind of getting them lined up. Okay. And again, I'm getting these just rough in there. These are in no way, shape, form, the best positions for these cards. Just something rough.
So I'm noticing when you did the edit transform there, the width is off.
I just noticed it too. The width. So again, what we're gonna do is we're gonna look at the original player 1 team, So transform, edit, whoop, not copy. Mouse is more sensitive than my fingers are. Edit transform. So this came in at 1694. So 1694 by that. So we're going to come in here. Transform. Edit transform. 1694. So now, again, the cards look appropriate to each other. So, probably pull it out a little bit to match the other. There you go. And so now we've got one last one, which is another Dice Master source. This is going to be player 2, team 2. Now this is where we're going to have to do a little bit of finagling with the TRP code. Because remember I said the TRP code is built all 8 cards with the basic actions last. But we need the basic actions to be first. So you're going to want to take the last. I'm going to move this over here to show you guys. So this is the team that I'm building the layout for right now. So I will take the last 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the semicolon's the break. Okay. So I would copy that. Paste it in, of course. Get rid of that front semicolon. Take the 2 last cards. I copied them. Paste them there, and make sure I have a semicolon in between there. So now I've just moved those 2 cards from the end to the beginning. Copy that, and put that in as the TRP code. And again, we don't want it to cycle. We want it horizontal. And you can see we've got the 6 cards with the 2 basic actions first. We had, what was it, a 50 on card margins. There you go. I'm going to look at the player 2, team 2's transforms because copy paste does not like me right now. And I'm just going to remember that as 1577 and 213. So 1577 and 213.
I hope I'm not having to remember this.
No, I'm not that mean to you. 1577 and 213. Okay. Make sure everything else is locked so I don't accidentally grab something else. Come down here, kind of get it roughly into position with the others. Now again, with that transform stuff that you saw, you can look at the positions and you can get these things lined up perfectly.
Yeah.
All right. I'm just, again, roughing this out. So, just like we did before, now we want to create a group to keep this nice and easy to organize. And this will be player 2 info. And it helps if I can spell player. Go.
Spelling's optional. It's okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's helpful just to remember, how things are. And you see, as I'm dropping them into the group, it's putting them to the top of the group. It's messing things up. So I need to move the teams up. And we've got these buttons here that will move them up and down in the list. Okay. That's all good there. The last thing we have is the basic action green box. So one last color source and back outline. And this, we will go with that nice lime green. Continue with the eye assault. And okay.
I get the feeling you don't like these colors.
Actually, I have no problem with the colors. I have none whatsoever. So again, I'm just kind of trying to get it rough right now. Dollars on there. Boom. And now I can put this. This is where things are going to get a little bit interesting because I have the groups. I'm actually going to have to break these out of their groups to get this to show properly.
Uh, you're right. Or you
Yep.
can just put a copy of it in
So
each.
yeah, that's actually, let's do that. That's going to be well, no, I don't know if that'll work either because the one will override the other, I think. So
You're
what I
right.
could do is, well, the way I would do this is
Make 2.
shrink that down. Yep, make 2 of them. Copy this, and that's going to go into the player 2 team. I can make a paste of it. And put that in the player 1 team. Be nice. Pop that. Me. Boom. So, again, you saw just how quick and dirty I did that. I'm sure if you spent more than 10 seconds on it, you could make it look better. I'm just drawing polygons with color fill.
Yeah, which is, I mean,
No
basically,
images, no nothing.
you've done this all in OBS. There's no extra tools to get to where you are right
Right.
now. Yeah.
Right. I've not stepped out from OBS in any way, shape, or form to do any of this. I would say the furthest step out we did was installing the plugin for the cards.
Yeah.
And again, you'll just get the TRP code from, you'll get the team builder link from your opponent. You'll grab the first 4 cards, and that's the top. And then for player 1, which the way we've built this is your opponent. So this is the team that link you'll get from your opponent. You'll just take the last 6 cards and post it in. For your team, since, again, this is me streaming this, I'm showing up as player 2, mine is going to be modified, and I only have to do this the one time because mine's never going to change throughout the series of games in the event.
Right.
So, I know some people were like, why don't you make yourself player 1? This is kind of why.
Yeah,
we had to think a little bit ahead here to go, okay, do I want to modify the team builder link and reorder things every single time?
And
No,
I wouldn't. I'm lazy.
Right. I wouldn't
Yeah.
want to either. I'll modify mine the one time, and then I'll just be able to copy and paste the last 6 for theirs and go every single time.
So that's the biggest downside to this. Otherwise, like for myself, I just use the default stuff and just make it work so I can cut and paste faster.
Right.
Yeah.
But again, since we did it to where this is only having to be done the one time,
Right.
you are able to cut and paste it. And it breaks that up. You've got the top, you've got the bottom going there. It's all good. Again, we're just kind of showing Monkey an alternate way he could do his without having to download the images for everything.
Right. So yeah, you've got it done there. So
right.
Like this is now functional. But why
this is functional, but what we're missing is names and lives.
Yeah, I was thinking this would be a good segue into actually putting that information in. Now,
yeah.
Well, this is the tool we're going to show you is kind of where I think a lot of people start with. It's a very easy tool.
Well, I'm gonna start with, again, keeping it 100% within
OBS.
Yes.
Okay, you're going to go.
And then I'm going to show you
school.
the first step in automation. Yeah.
Okay.
So again, yeah. So first off, what we're gonna do is let's add a text box, and we're gonna call this player 1 name. Boom. And you can select whatever font you like, but as many of you know, I like Comica Access for ours. And as we've discussed before, it's better to have too large of a font and scale it down than too small of a font and scale it up. So because of the size, I think 24 is going to be good for us here. And because we've got that fixed red-blue background there, we're not going to have to worry about what's called stoking the characters, which is the outline. But you could add the outline to it down here. And again, player 1 for this example is Jourdo. Hopefully I spelled your name right there.
You did. You did, but that's
okay, good.
Super small though.
Yeah. So again, select the font. We come in and let's double the size. Nope, we need to go even larger. We need to go even larger. We're going to type in numbers up here. We're going to go with 144.
It should resize it when you click OK, shouldn't it?
Yep.
There you go. Okay.
So 144 is a bit large, but, again, it's better to be too large and size down. So we're going to take that and line that up over here. I still think we want to size it down just a little bit. And again, I'm going to grab the shift and kind of pull it out a little bit. But what I want to do is show a change on the transformation on this. Is we want it to always, or sorry, not transform here. We want the text on this one to kind of be more towards the middle going out. So we want it to be right justified. So go back to the properties. Yeah, you can change the always be uppercase, lowercase, or select the case where alignment. We want it to be right aligned. Okay. So now it will always start off on the right-hand side and grow longer out. Okay. And we want to put this under our player one info.
I think you moved the play mat up.
What just? Yep, I grabbed the whole wrong thing. I was like, what just happened there? Player one name, not there. We go. See, this is what happens. All right. We're going to copy this. We're going to paste duplicate, rename this to player 2, and go to properties. And this is not Jourdo playing. This is me, and I go by Gilmax. And again, kind of lock everything else. And transform, I want to reset the transform so it gets it back over where I can see it. Because what happened is it was right aligned here on the edge, so it was going off the side you couldn't see.
Got it.
Okay. So now I'm going to grab it, kind of lock it there in the middle, resize it down to where it's roughly kind of the same. Maybe pull it out a little bit so our names aren't touching. Social distancing is still a thing. Drop that in there. Again, since I locked the player one name, I have to unlock it. Now I can select.
You got the folders locked, it looks like, too.
Yep. Thank you for catching that. There we go. Why is it not letting? Player one name. It's not letting me move it for whatever reason. But again,
like with the keys, you mean?
There we go. Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
it was
the
snapped.
keys don't work until you move it with the mouse. I don't understand that myself.
Yeah. So there we go. Get it out there. Again, this is slapdash, guys. This is just thrown out there for a quick example. All right. So now we've got our names. Next, we need to add life. So text. Player one life. And select font. Comica access. Okay. And of course, we start with 20 life in our games. Gonna get that.
It's actually pretty good size, too.
All right. And move this under our player one info. add one more text player 2 life. Font to access 20. And again, if I was doing this for an actual, stream that we were going to plan, I'd spend a lot more time lining these things up.
I would
You know,
I would also suggest, with the way you've got it set up, is I would actually have the scores outside of the folders and just at the very top.
Yeah, so
easier to get
I'm
at.
keeping them organized just to, show how to do that. But exactly in this scenario, the name and life for both, I would keep out of the player info. So I'm going to move player 1 on top here, or maybe I'll be moving player 2 down. There we go. Not want to go up. All right. Because again, we'll keep those collapsed. And now when Jourdo hits me for 10 life, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to change this down to 10. Say okay, and now it's updated.
Yeah.
And then I come back and I hit Jourdo for 1 life because my teams suck and I'm only getting 1 damage in. Because I'm really not that good of a player. And there you go. And now you have a functional overlay because all the information people need to be able to play.
Now,
we're not going to stop there.
No, I'm debating, do we show like the quick Photoshop way of creating this and then go to automation, or do you want to show the automation now?
Let's show the automation now, and then we can get into making it look better.
Okay.
So what I recommend, as Jourdo said, kind of the first entry into automation is a program out there called Scoreboard Edit. You can find this if you go to the OBS studio or OBS project forum under their scripts and tools section. Just search for Scoreboard Edit, and there's a link to that. But
I'll try to get the links for that.
Yeah, this is an executable I'm running completely separate from OBS. So this is the first time we've dealt outside of OBS for this. And when you first install it, it's going to ask for a folder, to store files to. The main ones we're looking for are the player 1 nickname there, and the player 2 nickname, and their scores. Now, we're not going to use the label and the miscellaneous, but you could use those for additional information. So I'm going to click update. Now, I like leaving this always on top and auto update. So as I type anything in here, it'll auto update stuff. Now, I need to move this off to the side to show you the rest of it because I have it set to always on top, and otherwise it'll stay on top. What we're going to do is we're going to come back into player 1 name, go to properties, and instead of us typing the text in, what I like to do is change it to player 1, just so I can easily remember, and then say read from file. File, and I save that in my downloads under scoreboard, SBE. And now you see you have individual text files. Player 1, player 2, score player 1, score player 2, label, and miscellaneous. Okay? So now you're reading player 1. Boom. We're going to come into here, change the properties, read from file, browse, player 2. And for our lives, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to read from the score for player 1 and player 2. All right. And so now, bring back the scoreboard edit here. You can see I hit Jourdo for 4 life. I did not have to click update because I have that auto update on. As soon as I finished, it updated his score on there. Jourdo hits me for 4 life. A little bit later, boom, it wrote to the file, and this picked it up instantly. I'm no longer playing Jourdo. I'm now going to play against Reg. Oh. Okay, as soon as I click out of that field, why did it not update his names?
I find with names you do have to click update.
Okay.
I don't really, again, one of those things I don't quite get why.
Yep, you're right. Okay, so it's only auto-updating the score. Okay. Good catch on that one.
You can tell both of us haven't used this in a while.
Yeah, I never used this one. I used a different program. And this one this is the one everyone else used. But it's simple enough, you know.
Yeah, that's what I started out with once I learned about it.
Yeah. And so again, we can, you may need to go in here and move the name just a little bit, just get it looking a little bit better, however you want to do it,
Now, the one thing I have noticed with this software is when you do change the name, it doesn't necessarily leave it where you want it, so you do have to mess around a little bit, just formatting wise.
Yeah.
But
yeah, you're not going to be able to get away with just leaving this completely, automated and never coming back in here. But you're not going to be you're not going to constantly be coming back in here and having to modify this live during the match.
Right.
And so at this point, you can minimize OBS. You don't need OBS open at all. You've got your play field that you're playing on, and you're updating the information of lives here in this. And this is going to feed straight into OBS for you. And that's that for base level automation.
Yeah.
You can add a whole lot more. You can do stuff to your heart's content with other applications and other things to add additional automations, and we will get into that in more detail in the master class. Not even the advanced class, the master class. So I'm going to now hand the reins over to you, Jourdo, for making this look better, because like I said, I just used colored polygons.
So what I'll get you to do is, again, because I'm lazy and I don't like cutting things up, I just want something that I can cut and paste in. So why don't we decide what do we want for a format? Do we want to just use the bar at the bottom? Do we want to use the
why don't we have the player 1 team across the top, player 2 team across the bottom, using the horizontal view?
Okay.
On that.
So could you get me actually even just a screenshot? What's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, it's too many cards. Could you get me a screenshot of your screen with just the teams on there, or just even one of the teams, I guess?
Okay.
Or maybe, hang on, let me see if I have something.
Well, no. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna create a new scene. Test. Actually, I'm not gonna create a new scene. I'm going to do that because I don't want to get rid of what we did. I'm going to duplicate it, and we'll call it that. Now I will.
Oh, just turn off all the other stuff.
Yep. So player 2, we want to get rid of the back outline. And so what we're talking about is bar bottom, edit U to go all the way across. And then get rid of the team, first part of the team, and get rid of the bar at the top. This is kind of what you're talking about here, right?
Yeah, I don't even need the bar at the bottom. Like, it just, whatever.
You just want a full team?
What? Yeah, like I just need the team on the screen.
Okay. So.
So the reason I'm doing this, and normally I'd have this done ahead of time, is this is what it's going to look like on the screen. So for whatever we create here, it's got to look the same. So what I try to do is I will set it up how I want it to look on the screen. Like I'll get the sizing right and everything, and I know that's my template. So in our case, we'll probably play with where the mats are. I think probably that's a good height for things. And maybe, yeah, leave the space at the end there for the scores, maybe?
Yeah.
So yeah, why don't you
Though I'm thinking, yeah, because this is player 2, so we can have their name and life there, and then player 1 would be the other side with their name and life in the
so
upper left
what
corner.
I'll get you to do is throw that red bar back on there. It'll just make it
Mm-hmm.
easier for cutting things around. Perfect. And then just if you can shoot me a screenshot of that in Discord.
All right. Now you're gonna make me remember how to do a screenshot on this.
Print screen. Print screen
Yeah.
is the low tech method.
I'm gonna do snipping tool.
Oh, that works
So
too.
another little trick here, real fast, is I'm going to pop out the preview to a whole nother window. And now I can resize this however I want. Now I'm gonna do a rectangular capture.
And this doesn't have to be perfect. It's close enough is what we're looking for.
Yeah. So we will edit, copy that. And I'm pasting that to you in our Discord chat right now.
Okay. And I will open the original. I'll do the old.
So again, what I just did here with the popping this out, you wouldn't want to normally run it with both of these on. But what you could do is now disable the preview there. And I still have my preview as another window I keep running in the background, kind of like a picture-in-picture over my playfield that I'm playing in, and then have the scoreboard edit up as well. So there's my scoreboard edit, and then my Jitsi playfield, would be along these lines. Bring back that OBS preview there. So this is how I could be playing. This would be Jourdo's playfield. So again, bring it up like that. I've got the little view so I can make sure what's showing up on the stream right there, and scoreboard edit that I can modify things. And then OBS is completely minimized. I don't need to deal with changing things because we've got the one view that's showing both play mats. Or again, in the next class we'll talk about doing hotkeys, so you can have hotkey switching between multiple scenes and whatnot. But you're not having to have full OBS open the whole time, seeing everything in OBS, when all you're really interested in is making sure, hey, what am I sending out on the stream?
Yeah.
And that's what this little window right here is showing.
Okay.
Tried to eat up some time for you while you were working there.
I got to paste it over. We're good. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop over to my screen, which is Photoshop. Now, hopefully this all shows up.
All
so
right.
that image looks pretty familiar there. So what I did was I created a new image and I made it 1920 by 1080, which is probably the size you're going to want to use.
Yes.
So I just need to get this to the right size. So I just take that and pull it to the corners. And it should be pretty close. Close enough is what I say. So what I then do is I want to kind of work with the cards here. So I guess what do we want to do? We want to do bar at the top, bar at the bottom is what we're trying to create here.
Yeah, let's do like a horizontal of the team across the top and the bottom, with the top being player 1 with their name and life in the upper left corner, when players 2 would be in the bottom right corner.
Okay, so what I would do here, well, first things first, is create a new layer, because we want to keep this one. This is our base image. And we never want to mess with that one, or as little as possible. So what I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to highlight the cards. So we're kind of happy with that, and I don't think I need much more than that as a border. That looks pretty even. So I'm going to just copy that and paste it, and then when I turn that off, we got that. But then we may want to get rid of this red background, so what we'll do is use the magic wand tool. Just click anywhere in the red, delete that, and it should all be gone. There's a little bit there, but that's okay. So then what we've got here is kind of what the cards are going to look like. Now we're going to want to do a player 1 and a player 2 setup. So the easiest way to do that is duplicate that layer and drag it up here. Again, you want to try to even out what you're doing here. You're not super concerned about like little artifacts like this little line here, this little line here. It's not the end of the world for what we're doing. This is more for placement. So then you're just going to pop your little thing back on here and just kind of check it out. So what I like to do is I like to check what's the screen real estate look like. Are these too big? Are they too small? This comes down to personal preference, but for what we're trying to do, let's do that. So then we decided that we liked that about that size, right? Something like that.
Well, I'm not seeing what you have, so
Oh, shoot.
I'll just say it.
Are we not screen sharing anymore?
Oh, no, I just wasn't looking in the Discord, so...
Got
sorry.
it. Okay, so if we like that...
I think the size you're talking about there, yeah.
Okay, so what we want to do is go to that layer we created at the very beginning, and I just like to create a paint bucket, and I like to pick a very eye-catching color. Doesn't matter what it is.
Or as I call it, eye-assaulting.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So same thing as within OBS. We're working with layers here. So let's just drop that one underneath the cards. So we got that blue background, and we're going to want a similar one. Duplicate the layer. And we want to just move that to the top. And there we go. So that's kind of what we want. And then we want to make this pretty. So let's hit the Googles and look for you're a Doctor Who fan. We're gonna look
am.
We're gonna
What gave that away?
Let's see what we can find here. Let's go with that one's kind of cool. I'm just looking for a nice image that we could use.
I was gonna say, why don't we go with like a wood grain? I also do a lot of woodworking, so
okay.
You know, a little easier on you.
Wood grain background. Look at that. And actually,
I kind of like the last one on the second row there.
This one?
Yeah.
We got a watermark, but we can work with that. Or do we want something that's not watermarked?
It's up to you. I would just
saw
that one, and I thought that one.
Okay, so I just do a copy image, and then I just Control V to paste it in there. So ideally, you probably want to look for something that kind of works with the size that you got. So what I like to do is just stretch it out to our size. Just like that. Now, you see we don't have any openings for our stuff. So what I do here, if we hide this, and I'm actually just going to combine these layers to make my life a little easier. So then you get your magic wand tool, click that, and you click that so you're selecting both of those. We're going to go back to this layer, which is our wood grain. Now, I don't want to cut out this. I want to cut out this. So I just go to the select tool and I'm going to invert my selection, hit delete, bang. So now we've got a little wood grain background with all the nice little watermarks there.
Yep.
Do we want to, how fancy do we want to go here? Like, do we want to do borders on cards, or is that getting, that's probably a little too much?
Maybe show them how to do one if we did it as a cycle card.
Okay, so let's zoom in on Jerry here.
Yeah.
Or Booker's more in the middle.
I wouldn't do this, as he's setting this up. In the horizontal view like this, I would not do a border around the cards. It just, some of the cards may not line up perfectly on it or whatnot.
Yeah. So this is do as we say, not as we do. So don't do it for this. But if you were using the single card cycle, this will work really good. So let's pretend.
Yeah. So like what?
Sorry, I'm zooming in here. I lost my tool here. There we go. So let's get in close to Booker. So again, we want to work with a new layer. So
I'm sorry, I just had the irresistible urge to scream out 5 times. 5 times.
So I've created another layer on the top. So I'm going to be above all these cards here. Now again, I want my ugly image there, and I'm going to pick the rounded rectangle tool because I like it. And you're just going to try to pick roughly the size of the card. Actually, I'm probably going to go a little bit. No, let's go size of the card. This won't be perfect, but it'll work. And then what I like to do just to check what it's going to look like, I kind of play with the opacity a little bit. So I'll lower it just so I can kind of see what am I cutting off, what am I getting. And that's not terrible. You're losing a little bit there. You can play with the radius of the edges if you want. Again, I don't really care for these purposes. So what you would do is let's duplicate our wood layer here. And let's bring that to the top, or right underneath that. So again, what we're doing is we want to cut this out. So use the magic wand tool, which doesn't work because I've got to change this shape. So I've selected that, but I want to cut it out on the wood layer. So I select the wood layer, cut it out. Let's hide that. Get rid of the selection tool. And let's just zoom out. So what happened is this layer is actually above the cards. So the cards are still there.
So, and the reason you would want to do this is most of these card images are pulled from the Dice Coalition's webpage, and almost all of these have been hand scanned to be put into onto their wiki.
Yeah.
And so not all of them are perfectly aligned. Not all of them have crisp, clean edges.
No. So if you want to make
this helps hide some of that.
Yeah. So what you do is then, so if you want to look at the actual base image, let's get rid of all the other junk here. Hide the cards. Oh, and I gotta hide this one. And I gotta hide this one. This is what the image would look like. So it's got this cutout. So you gotta make sure you put your card in that spot. Again, for this layout, it doesn't really work that well. But if you wanted to do it, that's how you would do it. But you know what? I might actually send this your way just to show them how to use it in OBS.
Send it to me with and without it. And
okay. Okay. So let's get this one back here. So are we happy with that as kind of a really basic?
Yeah. No, I think that's gonna be good for sprucing it up from just the colored bars like I did.
Okay. So what we want to do is we want to make sure we're saving it as a PNG because we want this transparency to show in there. So we'll save that under that folder. Let's make a new folder. OBS.
And you're only saving just the one layer that has the modified wood.
So this is the wood borders.
This doesn't have the original background I sent you. Doesn't have those blue bars that you created. Any of that. It's just those.
Just the upper and lower border
wood bars. Yep.
And then let's save the other layer with the cutout.
Yep.
So we're going to save that for the web. And again, we want to save it as a PNG, 1920 by 1080. And wood borders, but this time we want to add the word cut out.
With hole.
I'm going to leave that one alone. There may be kids watching. So that's a
I was thinking the old Animaniacs, and then they don't go down the hole.
So that's a quick and dirty way to spruce it up. So you can, again, your imagination is the limit here. But that's a good way to do it. So again, what I do is I make sure I've got I just paste over the images that I kind of want to work with. So where the size of the cards are going to be, and then I kind of move them around the screen. Or if I'm just designing from scratch, I'll just have a screenshot of my playmat there, and then I can play around with it. So, oh, I'm on the wrong.
Now, can you do me one quick thing here real fast? Because while you were doing that, I was making some changes in OBS on my side to prep for this, and I mistakenly deleted the team where it was. Can you in there tell me the height of the bar on either the top or the bottom?
No, we can play with it though.
Okay.
Well,
it doesn't have to be exact. I just need to make sure when I size the team in, I need to make sure it's smaller than that.
Well, we could. I guess that's part of the playing thing. Oh,
yeah. Let's don't worry about it.
Yeah. So sometimes what I'll do is if I'm designing from fresh, I'll just have this on here, and say I want to put the team along the bottom. I will again. Oh yeah, hang on. Got to play around layers here. So what I'll do is I'll play around with the size of this until I'm happy with where it's at, and say, okay, no, I like that. That'll work, or that won't work, or I like it centered, or I like it off center, wherever. But you can kind of get an idea what the viewer is going to see here. Right. So that's kind of what I do is I'll have an image of a mat, an image of the cards, and then design over top of it with other layers. But I think that kind of covers that stuff, doesn't it? Or
yeah. So if you want to send me those files, we'll resume with bringing those into.
I will send those to you.
Into OBS.
Upload, and then we will switch back to you.
All right. So let me save this one here.
Again, the joys of live TV, folks.
Yep. So again, you're seeing behind the curtain here how I was getting that in there. So we'll go back to Jourdo's playmat here real fast. So I kind of brought us back. Now again, I left the original one, everything we did, it's all over here. You know, this is a duplicate that I kind of just cleared out. Now I still have the name and life in there, but I've hidden them. I've turned the visible icon off. So we'll bring those back here in just a little bit. But so now what I want to do is I want to add an image. And this is going to be wood background. All right. And so then I need to browse to find that image. And I put that. Where did I put that? That should be in my downloads. Or no, I put it in my documents. Stream data. Where did I put that here? Hold on. Let's back behind the screen. It should be in my downloads. I guess. So, downloads. Well, gee, I can't remember anything for more than 10 seconds. So we're going to say this again. Save image as. Where is this? Pictures CRGR. That's where I put it. Okay.
Maybe there will be some editing of this video. We'll see.
There we go. So we're going to... Now, what I like, I'm a fan of... Get that back here. This checkbox right here. Unload image when not showing. For small images like this, it's not a huge thing, but if you're running on older hardware and an older machine, every little bit that you can get out of memory when you're not using it can help. So I always default to unload, and then if it's causing me issues with something that it's not coming in fast enough and whatnot, then I will uncheck that. But I prefer to default on the idea of let's not tax our hardware if not necessary. So I always check that and will uncheck it if I see that's causing me problems later. So got that in, and because Jourdo created it as a perfect 1920 by 1080, it lines up just perfect over it. Now, again, I could come into these sources and resize these necessary to zoom in better on the play fields if we wanted to, but we've shown how to do that. I'm not going to go back over. But as this is a background, I do have to get it below all these texts and what's going to be the teams. So again, let's add some teams real fast. We're going to add Dice Master source, and this will be player one team. Oh, it's already in use there. So team long, because I had that in use in that other scene, but I need to reference something different here. So back to my text file with my team lists. That whole team. And again, this time I can take the whole team, the whole URL. I don't have to worry about removing anything from it. Change it to temp DM card. And we want it as that horizontal.
I think it was 50 was our number, right?
The same 50. And now we need to resize this. See, I didn't have that clicked, and what happened? I randomly did something and started moving it around. So
again, locks are your friends here, people.
Yeah. So I always like going with the bottom right corner when I'm resizing things like this, and then kind of moving it more into position. So maybe I went a little too far there. So something like that. How does that look?
I think that looks good.
All right. So now what we're going to do is bring back the player one name and player one life. And let's resize the life a little bit here. All right. And again, these are still controlled by the scoreboard. So, I come in here and I can reset his life to 20. Yeah, there we go. It's like I get worried when it takes that long to, Both of those updated. Okay. And again, because I like keeping this as clean as possible, I can now do a group. Player one. Just call it that. We're going to move all of those into that. And now we just need to create another team. We're going to see if it lets me do this. I'm going to B. Okay. See, I don't know why it totally messes up the sizing. It does that. But let's rename it. This will be player 2. Team long. I'm just going to move it down here with those for right now. Properties. Back. Let's get other team. And if anyone's interested, these were the top two teams from our last monthly one shot. So, you know. All right. Now we are going to try edit, transform, copy, transform from the player one team, and pasting it on. No, it really just does not like that. So we're going to go back to the player one team. We're going to go to transform, edit, transform, and 1490 by 8188. All right. So player two team long. This needed to be 1490 8. So now those two teams are perfectly sized the same. Now we just need to position a little bit. And if I really wanted to, I could come into the transform on this one and look at the position. And so this is positioning it based off the top left corner. And there's the position. So I'm 16 from the top. That's what that's telling me. And that 378 in. I'm not going to worry so much about the in on that one, but it's at 16 from the top is what I'm going to look at.
So you want 16 from the bottom, right?
Right. We're going to edit transform. Now remember the position alignment we had was top left. Now I want to do bottom left. And I can change this to 16. And no.
And it went haywire.
Oh, I've messed. No, it's the top left of the box. So that's we'll go with top left. Let's get it back. Yeah, so you can see with 16 it's there. I need to do the math. That's 1080 minus 16 minus the 188. Yeah, I could attempt to do the math, but I don't think we want to sit around for that. But again, we'll get it about right there. Should be pretty close. All right. And now we'll bring back in player one name and our life, and let's kind of move those in a little bit. Size it up. And you'll notice now, while you were doing that, I added the Stoke to the font. So they've got the little tiny black outline.
Yeah.
And it just helps them stand out a little bit better from this background.
Yeah.
So again, if I'm going just on a solid polygon type color, there's not much of a need for stoking the font. But if you're going on top of anything else, it just makes it stand out that much better to do that. And again, just to show people what we're talking about there, all I did is I put a checkbox on the outline. Again, I just did a two pixel size and selected the color of black. And so lastly, I just want to keep things organized and create a group. And this is player 2. And move these into it. And again, the order inside of it does not matter that much, but the anal retentiveness of me, the OCD, whatever you want to call it, I want those to be in the same order from both of them.
It makes sense from an organizational standpoint, so you're looking at the same stuff in each one.
And again, player 1 on top, player 2. So now we've got the player 1 info there. So everything's good. I'm going to lock it. But again, I can hide that out, show it to you there. Yeah, so everything in that group is locked away that way. We put the wood background on top of our play fields, and then we left our audio at the bottom because audio is just there so people can hear us. We don't worry about where it's at visually, so waterfall, I always just throw my non-visual things that have to be on at the very bottom. And there you go. That's it in a nutshell. There's a I'm gonna call it, amateur level, stream with nice graphics, automated scoreboard, you know, all we're doing is editing in here, and it's updating on the stream for us. So once we're playing in the match, there's no need for us right now to ever come back into OBS to do anything.
Do you just want to show them quickly how you'd use that cutout?
Yeah, we can.
And then I can show them. I can show them a little advanced graphical work on a similar setup. I won't show them how to do it. I'll show them what we've made though. Because the difference between this one, the cutout, and the non-cutout is where it's placed, right?
Yeah. So we're going to have to be much more accurate with the team placement for the cutout. So I'm going to change the wood background. So again, here was the original one. I'm going to browse and change the one with the cutout. Say okay. Now we need to make sure that the cutouts are over the teams. So I'm going to have to break the team out from that group, put it below it. And again, this is all due to the waterfall effect. Whatever is at the top is displayed first, and then it works its way down. So if the teams were on top of the backgrounds, the cutout's doing nothing.
Now, I'm not sure how good people on stream can see it, if it's big enough or not, but we'll assume it is.
Well, let's do this. Let's break out my preview, and let's zoom this much bigger. Oh, helps if I don't click on the wrong things. All right, make this.
There you go.
A little bit bigger, and I'm going to change something in Discord here real fast. I'm going to share out just that window instead of my whole screen. So it's going to go dark for a second. Actually, no, I'm going to be I'm nice, able to just change it here. So windowed projector, share.
There we go.
So you should now just have just that screen.
But now we've got an echo.
You've got a what?
We've got an echo.
I don't know where an echo would have come from. Hold on. Because it's collecting the audio from my OBS over because I captured an OBS window. So the echo should be gone now because I muted my sources in OBS.
No. Say something again.
No.
Oh,
no.
wait.
Testing. 1, 2, 3.
No, we're good now.
1, 2, 3.
We're good now.
Okay.
It's just delayed. Okay.
Yep. All right. So you guys are.
No, it's still there. Shit.
Going to see the... All right. Hold on. We're gonna stop that. Okay. Now
we're back. Okay.
Should be.
So you know what? I'm gonna do it on my end. I'm gonna lock all these other things down, like a pro.
Well, no, I'm gonna close out some of these things here and make the preview bigger in OBS. So.
Okay, because I could zoom in onto your screen too. Whatever.
Yeah. So real fast, one thing you'll notice, in the previous thing, we were talking about being able to move these things around, and you notice I can't move mine. Under View, Docs, there's the Lock UI. I locked my UI. So I need to unlock it. Now I can modify things. So I'm going to just close out a couple of things to give myself a little bit more space so you guys can see a little bit better what's actually going on here with some of this. So that's about as big as I can make it here on my side. Is that visible?
That looks pretty good. I'm going to help out a little. We're going to
Okay.
zoom in. Okay, so they can see the bottom bar pretty clear now.
Yep. All right. So I've locked the wood background. I've locked everything except this team view. So what I want to do is I'm going to kind of move it over, get it a little bit closer, kind of up in that upper corner, and then I'm going expand it out, kind of move it back, expand it out.
Now again, this is much easier if you're using just the single card view.
Yeah, this is really meant for the single card view. See, it's snapping, so I need to turn my snap off here. Hold on. So there you go. Got it. Got that lined up, and had we taken the time and cut out for every single card, you would see every single card having the cut, would be under the wood border there.
Yeah, and it would have the nice little rounded edges like the cards are supposed to have.
Yep.
So
had I not deleted the team list from the thing, it would have, gone fairly quickly. But I thought I was being smart, and then we deviated. So
that's okay. Again, live TV, it's great.
Yep.
But that kind of gives us the basics there. So I think that kind of covers what we wanted to for this one. I think.
Yep.
What I was just gonna show you is how do I show this here? I need to put this on this screen so you can see it, Ryan.
Yep.
And then
I mean, I'm the least important to see, so.
so this basically this is a more fancy design of the same thing. So what I've done is I've created 3 views: the player 1, player 2, and the attack zone. So we'll look at the attack zone first, and you might recognize some of these symbols. It looks a little more like a Dice Masters card.
Yep.
So it's got the energies there. It's got the scores are the exact same setup as Ryan has there. So why don't I open up my scoreboard?
And again, this is the scoreboard he's about to show is a little bit more teaser for the masterclass.
Actually, this is the
stuff.
exact same thing.
Oh, you're using the same scoreboard? Okay, perfect.
Yeah. So it's the same thing. So it should. Oh, I didn't have an auto update. There we go. So the exact same setup that Ryan had there.
Yep.
And it'll set the scores up there. Names and everything. This is where that second layer came in, like the label and the miscellaneous. I decided I was going to add subtitles to the people. The changing, you'll probably notice the energy types are changing. We'll get into that if you really want to learn how to do that. Because this is not quite the same thing. You'll also notice the rarity stripe is changing as we go here. But this is basically a fancier version of what we just did, but you'll see there's no team links. So if we go to like the player 1 view, we've got the team link. So I did not do the cutouts or anything yet for this. I've just kind of started working on it, to be honest with you. And I've started liking this picture-in-picture setup here, so I'm working on that. But again, basically, it's got a card. It's a Dice Masters card view. So we got player 1, player 2, attack zone, and what you're seeing between there, how this is going away is there's transitions, which again we can talk about in the next the next version.
This is kind of a preview for the next class. This is truly into the advanced stuff. So we're previewing what we're going to be looking at next.
Yeah, there's no reason you can't. There's no reason you can't do this. Yeah,
there's homework and but the transitions you were talking about is a plugin called Advanced Transitions Matrix, I believe, or Transition Matrix. I sent it to you. Now I don't remember the name.
Yeah, well, again, don't worry about that if you're watching. We're not that concerned about that. But you can build yourself up to something like this if you wanted to. And like I said, it's not fully automated yet, but I'm working on it. I've literally been working on this for just a few days, so um, but there's lots of tools available to you to add stuff to your overlays. So I think that kind of wraps up class for today, I think.
Yep. Any homework assignments we want to give out?
I would say download Scoreboard, edit, and
Uh-huh.
just play around with it. Get it in your overlay. Whether you're doing the head-to-head setup, whether you're doing the different screens, and just play with it and get it going. So I mean, what Monkey did, he did with what we did last time, and he got pretty far. He wasn't using the Dice
Yeah.
Master source, which we've now shown it makes your life a lot easier. It makes your life even easier if you don't have
Yeah.
to do that cutting and pasting stuff where you're
Yeah.
breaking up the
So I'm just
teams.
throwing that back up on the screen. This
Oh,
is what
hang on.
Monkey shared out as a,
Let's yeah, there we go.
you know. So again, I mean, he took what we did in the 101 class, and this is what he built with. And so we wanted to, kind of use this as the groundwork to, show for the 102 class, the finalization of the basics for him, to enable him. Um, and again, this was posted on the CR Gameroom Discord in our OBS chat channel there. I love seeing this feedback, the pictures like this of this is what I'm working on.
Yeah.
This gives us an idea of what you guys are learning from us and what we need to focus on going forward for the next class. So, do not think we are, ridiculing or laughing at anything questions you have or images you post, because, this layout, when I first saw it, it took me about 10 seconds to realize, the layout of how he was doing the cards, and all of a sudden my brain just went, that's fantastic. That's, how come none of us had ever really thought of doing something like that before? And then, I spent another, 10 minutes figuring out how I could, automate it, recreate it in a more, automated, easier to sustain fashion, you know, and, that just came from Monkey giving us that feedback. So any feedback you have, saying this is what we're doing, it's, standing on the shoulders of the giants will, the giant will stand on your shoulders too, so.
Yeah, so that's like you said, give us feedback, show us what you're doing, and maybe there's little things that we can kind of do to help you. Automation's the key to this. The less you have to do, the
Yeah.
happier you're going to be. The more you can focus on the games,
Yeah,
and if there's
because you don't want to take away from your gameplay.
no,
Streaming's fun and great, but you're there to play the game,
right,
and so you don't want to get frustrated because something's not working with your stream and then have a bad experience playing. Because not only are you having a bad experience, most likely your opponent is having a bad experience. So we don't want to shy you away from streaming your games. We love seeing recorded games. We love the imagination, and the innovation you guys are having with your layouts and that. We want to help you as best we can make it to where everyone has a good experience playing.
yeah. So I think, like I said, that wraps it up. So go on the CRGR Discord. It's the OBS chat. Is that the channel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Under our content creators category, there's an OBS chat.
Yeah, just throw any questions in there. And like I said, play scoreboard edit is a good starting point for an automated scoreboard. Do we want to do the really automated one next time, or do you want to do audio?
I think we're going to need to dive into audio a little bit next time before
Okay.
we go into the full automated one.
Okay.
The full automated one is probably going to be a class in and of itself.
Audio,
a
please.
Shorter class.
That's what the comments are saying. Audio, please.
Okay. Yeah. So we've already got votes for audio. So,
Okay, so
we will do audio. We are going to wait until after EarthX Origins before
Yeah,
we go into the advanced stuff.
I think we've kind of given you enough to be dangerous enough to record stuff now. So
Yeah.
if you are
That, and
participating,
I don't think Jourdo and I want to modify any of our existing settings any further before that,
no,
though.
no, no,
So,
no. I'm terrified of what I've screwed up already. No, I think what you have now is enough to make something presentable to record for this coming weekend. So if you want
yeah,
to do that, please do it. Please put it out there. Please tell us where to find it. Um,
yeah,
and we just want to see what you're doing. Whether it's on Twitch, whether
yeah.
it's on YouTube, whatever it is, it's the more that's out there, the better it is for the community, the better it is for the game, the
Hmm.
more exposure we get. So,
I mean, you saw how we started this off with just doing the color fills and drawing polygons, and then Jordo took it advanced a step and put some actual images on there, you know. And if you go back to the early streams that I've done, we just did the color fills. In some cases we didn't even do that. It literally was just text on top of the raw video, webcam images. You don't have to go this, to this extent or further,
no, not at all.
but don't feel intimidated and say, well, I can't get there in time. There, just get the get the playfield captured, throw a life counter on there, throw a name on there, and you're good. You can make it work.
Yeah.
As we said, the automation of that, where the scoreboard edit is that first step, really will save you from having a bad experience. So
Yeah, I couldn't do the way you showed to do the scores initially. I can't do that. It's just too much going on. So I like that little pop-out
yeah,
program, and you don't have to think about it. It's just there.
yeah,
So again, if there's any comments or questions, specific questions, post them in there. Specific questions about audio for the next one, then maybe we can kind of try to cover that for you. I
yeah. Like,
believe,
what is it? Specifically, what are you wanting to do with the audio? So try
yeah,
to kind of address those.
yeah. So I think next time we're gonna try to stream with you on your channel. Is that right? That's the plan?
Yeah, I think the audio one we're gonna stream on my channel because we'll be messing with the settings in your OBS.
Okay. Okay. So we'll make sure that we get that out there for you guys. And
Yep.
again, ask any questions. We're happy to help. Everyone's so good in this community about sharing and getting you guys going. And yeah, play around and let's see what you can do. Any other closing
And
comments?
then the only closing comment I have is, I believe, congratulations to you guys as order. You guys just got affiliate. If
We
I
did. It
noticed
was
correctly.
late this past week. We got it. So
Yeah. So
thank you very much.
give
And
a give a. I was to say, everyone give a good congratulations to to them. They finally hit the mark and got affiliate here.
yeah, so thank you to you guys, specifically to you guys. I know you guys have done a lot to push us there, and I can't thank you enough. And thank you to all the community members who got us there. And we're now working on the whole figuring out how the rest of this Twitch thing works.
Welcome to the club. So
There's a lot to do still.
we wanted company in our misery while we figured it out. So that's why we pushed for you guys.
Yeah, thanks. I'm glad to join you because now it's like, oh my god, what does all this mean? I see there's
So
bits and
no,
I don't even know what those are.
yeah, we're still figuring out what we're doing with it. So
Again, thank you everyone for joining us. And if you didn't join us live, thank you for watching us on YouTube. And if you didn't watch us on YouTube, what are you waiting for? Come on, watch the video.
yeah, come on. And you know what? If you're not watching the whole video and you're just going to the end here to see what we're saying, play more Dice Masters online. I don't
That's
care if
right.
you're playing through the game room. I don't care where you're getting your games in. Play more online. We need to
Yes.
show whiz kids that this game is still thriving.
Yes.
And they are aware. I can't say much more than they are aware, but you need to, whether it's the Discord, the Facebook channels, whatnot, show them that you're playing the game. Okay?
That works for me. Again, thanks everyone, and we will see you next time.